Most people rearrange their furniture, light candles, maybe burn some sage, and they wonder why the energy in their home still feels heavy, stuck, or just off. But here's what nobody tells you. There are specific plants that have been used for thousands of years not just to decorate a space, but to completely transform its energy. And right now, some of them might be growing in your neighbor's garden while your home sits energetically unprotected. We're talking about plants that ancient priests used to bless temples. Plants that healers across 5 continents refuse to live without. Plants that can turn a space that feels drained and lifeless into one that feels alive, protected, and sacred. Today we're walking through 15 of them, and I promise, by the time you get to number 8, you'll be looking at your living room completely differently. And stick around because number 13 was considered so holy that Roman soldiers were forbidden from touching it, and number 15 will completely change how you think about your front door. Before we get into it, if you want more content like this, videos that help you create a home that supports your peace, your abundance, and your spiritual well-being, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. We release new videos every week and you don't want to miss what's coming. Alright, let's get into it. Starting with number 1, lavender, the anxiety eraser. Most people think lavender is just a pretty scent for bath products. But what they don't realize is that lavender has been used for over 2,500 years as one of the most powerful spiritual cleansers and peacebringers known to humanity. Ancient Egyptians used it in the mummification process as a sacred offering. Romans scattered it in their bathhouses to purify the water and the air. And in medieval Europe, people strewed lavender across their floors because they understood what science is now confirming. This plant doesn't just smell good. It actually changes the energetic and emotional atmosphere of a space. The silvery purple spikes and soft gray-green leaves carry a fragrance that is immediately, almost supernaturally calming. Just walking into a room where lavender grows is enough to feel your shoulders drop and your breath slow. Spiritually, lavender works by dissolving anxious, restless, chaotic energy and replacing it with stillness. Traditional practitioners would grow it near bedroom windows, hang dried bunches above beds, and use lavender water to anoint doorways before prayer. For anyone whose home feels like it carries the weight of stress, of arguments, of the relentless noise of modern life, lavender doesn't just mask that heaviness. It dismantles it. It's the plant equivalent of taking the deepest breath you've taken all day. Number 2, rosemary, the memory keeper and protector. There's a reason rosemary has been placed on coffins, in bridal bouquets, and at the thresholds of homes for thousands of years across completely unconnected cultures. This plant occupies a unique spiritual position. It honors the past, protects the present, and sharpens the mind for the future. The ancient Greeks wore rosemary garlands during exams because they believed it strengthened memory and mental clarity. In European folk tradition, a rosemary bush growing at the front of the house was said to indicate that a strong, spiritually grounded woman ran the household, which is why superstitious neighbors would sometimes uproot a neighbor's rosemary in secret. The scent is sharp, bright, and resinous. Something about it immediately makes you feel more alert, more present, more yourself. Spiritually, rosemary clears mental fog and psychic debris, the kind of invisible clutter that builds up in spaces where people worry, overthink, or carry old grief. Traditional use included burning rosemary to purify rooms after illness, growing it near entrances to prevent negative energy from entering, and using rosemary bundles as spiritual brooms to sweep stagnant energy from corners. For anyone feeling mentally scattered, spiritually unprotected, or like their home carries old energy that never quite cleared, rosemary offers both a sharp spiritual cleansing and a fierce, loyal protection. It's the plant that remembers what your home is supposed to feel like, and it works every day to restore that. Number 3, snake plant, the silent sentinel. Here's one most people already own without realizing what they actually have. The snake plant, with its dramatic upright leaves edged in yellow and striped in green and silver, has been kept in homes across West Africa and Asia for centuries, not just for its famous air-purifying qualities, but for its fierce spiritual protection. In Chinese tradition, the snake plant is associated with the 8 virtues and was kept near entrances to invite positive qi into the home. In West African spiritual traditions, The plant was believed to absorb negative energy so completely that it would sometimes need to be replaced after particularly heavy energetic events. The leaves grow tall and straight, almost like spiritual swords pointing upward, which many traditions interpret as the plant physically deflecting downward or inward moving negative energy. There's something about the snake plant's geometry that feels inherently protective. It doesn't bend or drape. It stands. It guards. Spiritually, the snake plant works by continuously absorbing stagnant, heavy, and negative energy from its environment, converting it into neutral or positive vibration. This makes it particularly powerful in spaces where conflict, worry, or illness have occurred. Place it near the entrance of your home to catch negativity before it enters, in corners where energy tends to stagnate, or in rooms that feel persistently heavy or uncomfortable. For anyone wanting constant, effortless energetic protection from a plant that asks very little in return, the snake plant is the quiet guardian that never takes a day off. Number 4. Peace Lily, the grief dissolver. The peace lily is one of the most spiritually misunderstood plants you can own. Most people keep it because it's beautiful and easy to care for. But the spiritual communities and traditional healers who have worked with this plant for generations know something more. The peace lily has an extraordinary ability to absorb and transmute heavy emotional energy, particularly grief, conflict, and sadness that has soaked into the walls and atmosphere of a space over years or decades. The white flowers, which bloom like raised flags of surrender, and the deep glossy leaves create an energy that is simultaneously protective and deeply comforting. In many Latin American spiritual traditions, peace lilies are kept in homes after a death, not just as a symbol, but because they actively help clear the heavy emotional residue that death and grief leave in a space. Traditional use includes placing peace lilies in rooms where arguments frequently occur, where someone has been ill for a long time, or where emotional trauma has made the space feel thick and sorrowful. Here's what makes the peace lily spiritually exceptional. It doesn't just clear the heavy energy. It replaces it with genuine peace. Not the absence of conflict, but an actual felt sense of stillness and resolution. You can almost feel it working if you pay attention. For anyone living in a home that carries old sadness, where the air feels heavier than it should, where peace feels like something you have to fight for rather than something that naturally exists, the peace lily is extraordinarily powerful. It turns sorrow into stillness, and stillness into sanctuary. Number 5. Aloe vera, the healing conductor. Aloe vera is one of the most ancient spiritually significant plants on Earth, and almost no one knows it. We think of it as a sunburn remedy. But for the ancient Egyptians, who called it the plant of immortality and depicted it in hieroglyphs dating back thousands of years, aloe was a sacred plant of healing, protection, and spiritual power. Cleopatra reportedly used it in her beauty rituals as a form of spiritual self-care. And in the Caribbean and Latin American folk traditions, aloe plants hung above doorways are still used today to absorb the evil eye and protect the household from jealousy and psychic attack. The thick, succulent leaves that store water and healing gel carry a quiet, ancient energy that is both deeply grounding and genuinely healing. The plant seems to draw negativity into itself, particularly the kind that comes from outside, from other people's jealousy, ill will, or energy. Traditional spiritual practice includes hanging aloe above doorways to intercept negative energy before it enters the home, placing it near windows as a passive protective barrier, and treating the plant as a spiritual ally that works constantly on your behalf. You can tell a traditional spiritual practitioner's home by the aloe plant near their front door. For anyone who feels they absorb too much of other people's energy, who comes home exhausted by what they've encountered in the outside world, or who wants a simple but powerful spiritual protection that has been trusted for thousands of years, aloe vera offers remarkable energetic shielding. It's the plant that has been protecting homes since before history was written. Number 6. Jade plant, the abundance magnet. The jade plant, with its thick rounded leaves that look remarkably like jade coins, is one of the most universally recognized plants for attracting prosperity, abundance, and financial opportunity. In Chinese Feng Shui tradition, the jade plant is placed near the entrance of businesses and homes to invite financial energy and success. And this isn't a recent trend. The association between the jade plant and abundance stretches back through centuries of Eastern spiritual practice and observation. The leaves grow slowly and deliberately, accumulating mass and energy over years, which mirrors the spiritual principle it embodies: steady, compounding, patient abundance. The plant itself seems to pulse with a slow, green, contented energy that is almost tangible. Traditional spiritual use includes placing jade plants in the wealth corner of the home, which in Feng Shui is the far left corner from the front door, using the plant as a living affirmation of abundance consciousness, and treating it with care as a way of demonstrating that you value and welcome prosperity. Here's what makes the jade plant spiritually interesting. It's not about sudden windfalls or dramatic manifestation. It's about creating a consistent energetic atmosphere in your home where abundance feels natural, expected, and sustainable. Some spiritual practitioners speak to their jade plants, affirming intentions of prosperity while caring for them, turning watering into a ritual of gratitude and invitation. For anyone wanting to shift the energy of their home from one of scarcity or financial anxiety to one of genuine abundance consciousness, the jade plant is a living, breathing, growing affirmation that prosperity is not only possible, but already on its way. Number 7. Basil, the love and luck amplifier. Walk into any traditional home across the Mediterranean, Latin America, India, or the Caribbean, and you are almost guaranteed to find basil growing somewhere near the kitchen or entrance. This plant has been considered sacred, lucky, and spiritually powerful across an extraordinary number of completely unconnected cultures, which tells you something important. When that many different traditions independently arrive at the same conclusion about a plant, there is something real going on. In Italian tradition, basil placed on a window ledge signaled that a young woman was ready for courtship. In Hindu tradition, holy basil specifically, which we could spend an entire video on, is worshipped as a divine presence. In Caribbean hoodoo traditions, basil is used in love work, luck work, and money work because it is believed to carry a naturally high spiritual vibration that amplifies whatever energy you're working to create. The scent is bright, warm, slightly sweet, and intensely alive. There is nothing dormant or passive about basil. It is one of the most energetically active plants you can grow, constantly sending out that warm, generous, vibrant energy into its environment. Traditional use includes growing basil near entrances to attract love, luck, and positive visitors into the home, using basil water to wash floors and clear negative energy, and carrying basil leaves to attract good fortune. For anyone wanting to raise the general energetic vibration of their home, to make it feel warmer, luckier, more magnetic to good people and good things, basil is constantly working on your behalf. It's the plant that makes your home irresistible to positive energy. Now, if you're realizing that your home's energy could be completely different with the right plants, do me a favor and hit that like button right now. It helps this video reach more people who need to hear this. And if you haven't subscribed yet, click subscribe and ring that notification bell. We're building a community of people who are serious about creating homes that truly support them, and I want you to be part of it. Let's keep going because we're getting into the ones that will genuinely surprise you. Number 8. Chrysanthemum, the longevity guardian. In East Asian spiritual traditions, the chrysanthemum holds a place of deep reverence that Western culture has almost entirely missed. In China, the chrysanthemum is one of the 4 noble plants and is associated with longevity, endurance, and the ability to maintain beauty and integrity under difficult conditions. The flowers bloom in autumn when everything else is dying, which is precisely why they became symbols of spiritual endurance and the ability to maintain a positive, life-affirming energy even in the midst of challenge or darkness. The energy of chrysanthemum in a home is stabilizing and brightening, particularly during difficult periods. Traditional Chinese households kept chrysanthemums specifically because their presence was believed to support health, invite positive yang energy, and create an atmosphere of cheerful endurance. The flowers come in an almost endless variety of colors, each with its own energetic emphasis. Yellow for happiness and longevity, white for purity and clarity, red for love and passionate energy. Traditional spiritual use includes placing chrysanthemums in living areas to invite positive, cheerful energy, using them in spaces where someone has been ill or recovering, and keeping them in areas where the energy feels dim or lacking vitality. For anyone whose home feels like it's lost its light, where the energy is flat or persistently low-grade heavy, chrysanthemum brings a genuine brightness that is both spiritually protective and deeply cheering. It's the plant that blooms in the dark, teaching your home to do the same. Number 9. Money tree, the abundance architect. The money tree, with its distinctive braided trunk and bright green canopy of hand-shaped leaves, is one of the most deliberately designed spiritual plants in existence. According to the origin story told in Taiwan, a poor farmer found this unusual plant, cultivated it, sold the plants he grew from its seeds, and became wealthy, leading to its name and its lasting association with financial energy and good fortune. In Feng Shui practice, the money tree is one of the most powerful activators of financial energy available because it combines the living energy of a plant, the upward-reaching growth symbolism of a tree, and the deliberate human element of the braided trunk, representing the intertwining of human effort with natural abundance. The 5-lobe leaves are significant in Feng Shui, representing the 5 elements of wood, water, earth, fire, and metal in balance, making the money tree a complete energetic system in a single plant. Traditional placement includes the wealth corner of the home or business, near the entrance to welcome financial energy, and in offices or workspaces where financial decisions are made. Some spiritual practitioners tie red ribbons to the trunk, place coins in the soil, or affirm intentions of abundance while watering as a way of actively engaging with the plant's energetic potential rather than passively hoping. For anyone wanting to create a deliberate, intentional energetic foundation for financial growth and abundance, the money tree is one of the most effective and beautiful ways to do it. Number 10. Eucalyptus, the energetic reset button. Eucalyptus is what you reach for when the energy of a space has become so heavy, stagnant, or contaminated that you need a complete reset. The intensely medicinal, sharp, clearing fragrance of eucalyptus is not subtle. It announces itself. It clears the room. And that is precisely the point. In Aboriginal Australian spiritual tradition, eucalyptus was burned for purification and healing ceremonies. In South American healing traditions, curanderos use eucalyptus in spiritual baths and room clearings when dealing with particularly heavy, energetic situations. The essential oils in the leaves are so powerful that just a few branches hung in a bathroom or steam room can completely transform the atmospheric energy of the space. There is nothing that stagnant, heavy, or oppressive energy can do in the presence of eucalyptus except leave. The plant's energy is bright, clear, slightly medicinal, and deeply oxygenating both literally and energetically. Traditional use includes hanging fresh eucalyptus branches in bathrooms and steam spaces to create purifying energy, using eucalyptus water or oil to cleanse rooms after illness, conflict, or any situation that has left heavy energy in a space, and keeping dried eucalyptus in areas that tend to collect stagnant energy like hallways, storage rooms, and spaces that don't get much natural light. For anyone dealing with energy that has become genuinely heavy, stuck, or difficult, eucalyptus doesn't just improve the situation. It resets it entirely. It is the energetic equivalent of opening every window in the house after a long winter. Everything simply feels cleaner, lighter, and more alive. Number 11. Mint, the energy activator. Here's a plant that almost every culture on Earth has independently recognized as spiritually significant, which is a remarkable fact that most people completely overlook. Ancient Greeks associated mint with Mine, a water nymph transformed by the goddess Persephone, making it a plant caught between the world of the living and the realm of the divine. In many Middle Eastern traditions, fresh mint in a home is considered essential for hospitality and for attracting good energy and positive guests. In hoodoo and folk magic traditions across the American South, mint is used to attract money, clear negative energy, and raise the spiritual vibration of a space. The scent is immediately activating. Unlike lavender, which calms, mint wakes things up. It is one of the most effective plants for spaces that feel sluggish, low energy, uninspired, or stuck in routine. Traditional use includes growing mint near entrances to welcome positive, lively energy, placing fresh mint in money spaces to activate financial energy, using mint water to cleanse and energize floors and doorways, and simply keeping fresh mint in a space where creative work, decision-making, or important conversations happen because its activating energy supports clarity and forward movement. Mint spreads enthusiastically, which speaks to its abundant nature, and should be kept in containers to prevent it from taking over your garden. For anyone whose home feels like it's running on low energy, where things feel stalled or routine has become deadening, mint is the energetic equivalent of a cup of strong tea for your space. It wakes everything up and gets things moving. Number 12. Pothose, the resilience teacher. The pothose is so common that most people never think of it as a spiritual plant. And that is perhaps the most profound thing about it. Because what the pothose represents and teaches and embodies energetically is something that every home and every person desperately needs more of. The ability to thrive in imperfect conditions, to grow despite neglect, to remain vibrant in low light, to trail upward and outward in whatever direction is available rather than giving up because the conditions aren't ideal. In Feng Shui, the pothose is used to soften sharp corners and angles in a room that create what practitioners call poison arrows, lines of negative energy that flow along sharp architectural features and create discomfort or conflict in the people who live with them. The trailing vines of the pothose soften these edges, both literally and energetically. But the deeper spiritual teaching of the pothose is in its character. This plant will grow in almost any condition. It asks for almost nothing. It gives back beauty and clean air and gentle, patient, persistent energy regardless of how much attention it receives. Traditional spiritual interpretation sees the pothose as a teacher of resilience, of finding the light that is available rather than refusing to grow because there isn't enough, of beauty as a practice rather than a condition. For anyone who has felt that their environment is imperfect for growth, that the conditions of their life aren't right for thriving, the pothose is a living reminder that the most powerful growth often happens in exactly the circumstances that seem least suitable for it. Number 13. Vervain, the holy herb. I mentioned this plant carries weight, and I meant it. Vervain, a modest wildflower with small purple blooms on tall spikes, was considered so sacred in ancient Rome that it could only be harvested by priests following specific ceremonial protocols. Roman soldiers were forbidden from touching it without ritual preparation because the plant was believed to carry divine energy that the uninitiated could not handle without consequence. Druids considered vervain, alongside mistletoe, to be among the most sacred plants in existence. It was called herba sacra, the sacred herb, herba veneris, the herb of the goddess, and the holy herb across multiple traditions that had no contact with each other, which tells you everything. The spiritual properties of vervain span every category: protection, purification, blessing, love, prosperity, dream enhancement, and the creation of sacred space. It was used to anoint altars, bless sacred objects, purify temples, and create a bridge between the human world and the divine. Traditional use today includes hanging vervain above doorways for comprehensive protection and blessing, using vervain-infused water to bless and purify rooms and sacred objects, growing it near the home where its holy energy can work continuously, and harvesting it with intention and gratitude during its summer flowering season. For anyone wanting a single plant that addresses every spiritual dimension of the home: protection, purification, blessing, and sanctification, vervain is the complete answer. It's the plant that has been considered holy by more traditions than almost any other on earth, and it grows effortlessly in a sunny spot, asking nothing but to be treated with the reverence it has always deserved. Number 14. Spider plant, the air and energy cleanser. The spider plant is another deeply misunderstood spiritual plant hiding in plain sight. NASA famously confirmed what many traditional cultures had observed for generations. The spider plant is one of the most effective living air purifiers on Earth, removing formaldehyde, xylene, and other toxins from the air with remarkable efficiency. But the spiritual tradition goes beyond the physical. In various African traditions, particularly in South Africa, certain plants with similar energetic qualities to the spider plant were kept in homes as protective, cleansing presences that worked on multiple levels simultaneously, addressing the physical atmosphere and the energetic atmosphere as two aspects of the same reality. The spider plant's cascading green and white variegated leaves, and the way it produces offspring that dangle from long stems like a mother reaching out to care for her children, gives it a uniquely nurturing, regenerative energy. It is a plant that literally produces abundance from itself, creating more plants, more cleansing, more beauty, more energy from the same root. Traditional spiritual use includes placing spider plants in corners where air and energy stagnate, using them in bedrooms to support restful, clean energy during sleep, and keeping them in spaces where children and vulnerable people spend time, because their cleansing energy is particularly beneficial for those who are still developing or healing. For anyone wanting a plant that works continuously, tirelessly, and on multiple levels at once, the spider plant is one of the most quietly powerful tools you can have. It cleans what you can see and what you can feel, making your space genuinely healthier in every sense of the word. And finally, number 15, the plant you walk past every single day without knowing what you actually have. Lucky bamboo. Lucky bamboo is not actually bamboo. It is Dracaena sanderiana, a plant native to Cameroon in West Africa that arrived in East Asian markets in the 1990s and was immediately recognized as embodying the qualities long associated with bamboo in Chinese spiritual tradition: resilience, flexibility, hollow-centered to allow qi to flow freely, and rapid upward growth representing ambition and progress. What makes lucky bamboo extraordinary as a spiritual tool is the deliberate energetic intention built into its arrangements. In Feng Shui, the number of stalks you keep carries specific meaning: 2 stalks for love and partnership, 3 for happiness and wealth, 5 for health, and 7 for good health and happiness. Each number creates a different energetic frequency. The fact that lucky bamboo grows in water alone, requiring no soil, represents its purity, its ability to exist and thrive with the minimum necessary, taking from what is available rather than demanding what is not. Traditional placement includes near the entrance of a home or business to welcome qi and good fortune, in the wealth corner of a home for financial energy, and in relationship areas for partnership harmony. The plant's upward growth represents the aspiration of the household, its movement towards something better. For anyone wanting a plant that combines ancient wisdom, deliberate spiritual intention, and remarkable low-maintenance beauty into a single elegant object, lucky bamboo is the plant that meets you exactly where you are, grows with you wherever you're going, and makes your home feel like a space where good things are always in motion, always on their way, always arriving. If this video shifted how you see the plants around you, if you're already thinking about which one you're going to bring into your home first, then I need you to do 2 things. First, smash that like button because it helps more people find content like this, and it genuinely means a lot. And second, drop a comment below and tell me, which plant are you most excited to bring in? Are you drawn to protection, to abundance, to peace, or to purification? I read every single comment, and I love hearing from this community. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button right now and ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. We release new content every week that can help you transform your home into the sanctuary it was always meant to be. I'll see you in the next one.